Have you ever caught yourself thinking, I love my life, so why doesn't it feel like enough? Why do I still want more? The biggest lie working mums have been sold is that we're exhausted because we need more time. But we're not. We're exhausted because we're carrying things that were never ours to carry in the first place. If you're a highly capable working mum carrying everyone else's mental load, this episode is your permission slip to stop believing that you're the problem, or to stop feeling ungrateful for wanting more. We'll explore why you were never meant to carry it all, how the life you're living might not actually be the one you chose due to inherited beliefs and conditioning you've learned along the way, and why the smallest shifts can change everything. You're listening to Confessions of a Working Mum, the podcast helping highly capable working mums reduce the mental load, release what was never theirs to carry, and create a calmer, more supported life without guilt. Hello and welcome to the final episode of Confessions of a Working Mum, Season 1. This is the space where we get honest about the beautiful, messy reality of modern motherhood, ambition, and everything in between. I'm your host, Michele Akester-Marsh. I'm a founder of Unshakable Mama. I'm a life coach and healer, wife and mum, and a family-focused feminist, supporting working mums to reconnect with more calm, confidence, and self-trust so they lead themselves and their families with more presence, ease, and joy. Today, I'm your guest. I'm your host. And I want to talk to you about how you can stop carrying what was never yours to carry in the first place. So today, we have a beautiful opportunity to go from what you've been listening to living it yourself, living the transformation of these stories, of these women with the C.A.L.M method. So if you've listened to every episode this season, you've probably noticed that every woman had a very different story. They had different jobs, different children, different marriages, different dreams. But underneath every single conversation, I kept hearing the same thing over and over again. These women weren't exhausted because they weren't capable. They were highly, highly capable. Their struggles and challenges came from carrying the things that were never theirs to carry. So I am your guide in this. I am the expert in reducing the mental load, in helping you release what was never yours to carry so you can create and build a life that is what you believe you should be living, not the life you feel you should be living. This is your permission slip to start living in a way that you want to be living. This is your permission slip to start questioning the norms, to start questioning what we've been taught is how we should behave, what we should do, who we should be, what we should look like, etc. in society. Most mums have been sold lies. Most mums think that we need more time, we need to be better organized, we need more help, we need a better planner, we need to be more productive, we need to just figure out a better way to manage our time. But that isn't the problem. That really isn't the problem. None of that is the problem. I want to introduce you to the invisible shoulds. So I'm going to share some examples from my own life, my own stories, like these shoulds. So, for example, I should be the one who remembers plucking ideas out my head, the Harvest Festival tins for school, because that's what a mum does. And heaven forbid that I forget, because what on earth would the school think of me? What would the other mums think of me? I was the one who should be sorting the washing. So I would ridiculously refold towels that my husband had folded. One, because it meant that I felt like I had been doing my job properly, but two, because I felt he wasn't doing it right. He didn't fold them in the right shape. Or the shoulds of cleaning the bathroom every week, cleaning the toilet every week, even though there are other things that you would much rather be enjoying, doing, experiencing. And, I'm here now to question those norms. Like, who says the toilet has to be cleaned every single week? Does it really matter if it gets a bit smelly when hey, it's not ideal, especially in hot weather, but who cares? Who is actually truly judging you except yourself? And I should be doing everything. These are real, true examples from my own life. I should be doing everything around the house, everything for my boys, because I needed to earn my place in the home. I needed to prove my worth in the home because I didn't earn enough money, as much money as my husband. So even though I was working and I was looking after the kids while he went off to work, I had this invisible expectation on myself that it was my job and my job alone. And I hear stories all the time. It was me, and it still is me sometimes, but that's just what mums do. It's a mum's responsibility to console her child when her kids are ill. And I used to get really put out if my husband could console them better than me, because I felt like I'd failed, because it should be me, because that's what mums do. So we're trying to release this and create space and freedom within you and more capacity within you to ensure that you can create more of what you actually want, more of what truly matters, focusing on the important stuff. So why doesn't anything else work? In my experience, in my clients' experience, well, productivity on its own does not work because we're already striving for being the most productive we can be. We're already putting so much pressure on ourselves. And if we're looking just at increasing the number of productivity tips, then that's just something else that we have to remember to do. And it's not sustainable because it's not actually, it's like putting a plaster over the symptom. We're not looking at the root cause, like, why are we not feeling productive? That's a far more important question to be asking, rather than like, here's another productivity tip, and then something happens and you let it slip and then you're back to square one again. Balance is something we have to get away from. I really believe with all my heart that balance doesn't exist, not for mums. And because creating the perfect work-life balance implies that we are giving our time and energy to everything in equal amounts. And I know, that we can't do that. Like, feminism backfired because it's my belief. Feminism backfired because it promised us we could have it all. But the reality is that we're trying to do it all. And in my past experience, I felt like I wasn't doing anything well enough. I felt like I was failing in all areas of my life because I simply didn't have enough time, energy, headspace to focus my attention on anything for as much as it needed. So the much better way of looking at it is harmony. Like, harmony is more of a flow. It's a give and take. It helps us feel calmer because some days my business needs more of me, some days my family need more of me, some days I need more of me. And that's okay. We get into a flow, we get into a rhythm, like, okay, well, where am I focusing my energy today? What is most important next? What's most important now? What's the next best step? So we're not trying to do everything at once. And harmony helps us feel calm. Harmony brings the peace that so many of us crave. And when we have that calm, when we're feeling more regulated, and when we have that peace, it brings the balance. So we're looking at it all the wrong way, but it is still not balance. It is harmony. Morning routines don't always work because, again, things change, different circumstances, different days, different challenges. Some days you might wake up exhausted because one of your kids woke you up in the middle of the night, or maybe you woke up exhausted because you've been working late the day before, or maybe the kids are bickering, or you get a phone call from someone or that needs urgent attention, and things don't always happen. So we need to be looking again at that harmony. So some days the morning routines work, some days they don't, and that's okay. I used to do a bit of journaling, a bit of yoga, some breath work, Sometimes I do all of them, sometimes I do none of them, sometimes I do just one of them. And it just depended on my time, my energy, my capacity. And, the thing is that these things, productivity, balance, striving for better time management, all of our morning routines, they all put pressure on us. And I don't want to give women more to carry. I want to help them create less to carry. I want them to carry less. I want you to feel like you've got less demands, pressures, expectations on your time and energy. Because the bottom line is that life isn't predictable. Motherhood isn't predictable. We all know that, motherhood isn't predictable. And I work with women and have designed a method, the C.A.L.M method, that doesn't just work for perfect weeks. It's designed for real life. It's designed to celebrate the highs and hold you through the lows. It is real life. Nothing is ever perfect. And we have to understand that. So it all comes back to, I believe that the most important things in life can't be seen. Like the work that we put in, the work we do in ourselves, it's all in our subconscious, in our nervous system. And you think of nature, think of a tree and how a tree roots down. The roots are actually the most important part of a tree because it feeds it, it keeps it watered, and it keeps it firm. The same with the foundations of a building. All of the most important things of a building are underground, because what happens if the wind blows for a tree or a building? Without the strong foundations, the strong roots, everything will crumble. So that's what we're working towards through the C.A.L.M method and through Unshakable Mama. It's about creating unshakable foundations. Unshakable doesn't mean that we never get shaken. It means that our roots are deep enough to find ourselves again faster, sooner, with more ease, with more grace. We don't let things drag us down for as long. We know how to process things much more quickly. So I'd really love to introduce you now fully to the C.A.L.M method, which, as I said, it's the process that I've devised. And I've devised it based on my own lived experience. I've kind of packaged up my experience because people are like, well, how did you achieve that? How did you do that? How did you handle that? So it's been devised to help working mums release what was never yours to carry. Theirs to carry, to build these unshakable foundations I've talked about, and to create a life that feels like it belongs to you. It's your life, and this is your permission slip. So I support mums and hold them lovingly accountable for creating more time and space for herself, and most importantly, for remembering who she truly is every single day, even when, and especially when, the unexpected happens. This is a journey. It's a journey with me as a guide and mentor. We don't ever stop growing. We don't ever stop learning. We don't ever stop evolving. We're not here to stagnate. Life isn't supposed to stagnate. We're supposed to flow like a river, And this is how we achieve it, based on your values. So the C.A.L.M method, it's 4 pillars: connect, align, liberate, and manifest. And connect is about reminding you who you are. Who are you? Like, before you can change your life, you have to reconnect with yourself deeply, really deeply. None of this surface level stuff, because that's going back to productivity. We're just putting a plaster over the top. Most working mums have become so busy being everything to everyone else that they've lost sight of who they truly are beneath the roles and expectations. And even when we know our values, there's a case of, well, how do I integrate that into my day? And that's what I support people with. It's about becoming conscious of the beliefs that you've inherited, remembering what matters to you most, and reconnecting with the woman you were always meant to be. Because most of us have this version inside of us who we know we're supposed to be, but life gets in the way sometimes and we fall back into old habits and we don't always show up as the best version of ourselves. I still don't. I'm not claiming to be perfect. I don't even believe the word perfect exists. But a few years ago, oh my word, like I really wasn't being the person I wanted to be. I was snapping with my husband and my boys. I just felt completely stressed out all the time. And, this isn't about stress, but this is about just, remembering who you are and making sure that you do show up the best you can every day. And knowing that you're enough exactly as you are. So pillar 2 is align, which is all about supporting you to release what was never yours to carry and to choose what truly matters. There's a lot of boundary work in this part, because once you know who you are, you can stop living by everyone else's rules. Let's break the rules. Let's break the cycles. Like, goes back to, who says things have to be a certain way? These are just things we've been taught. And now the things that we're carrying, and they're things that actually don't serve us. So align is where you begin questioning the invisible shoulds that you've been carrying for years, that you've been learning your whole entire life because you've been looking at your role models, your grandparents, your parents. And you release the expectations, the responsibility, perfectionism, people pleasing that were never yours. So your choices become aligned with your values instead of with your conditioning. What is really important to you? And we'd set a lot of boundaries in this part. See what we can get away with. Play like we're playing a game of life. Let's actually play it. Let's play it out fully. Because we only get one chance and we will never be this young again. That was a Jen Sincero quote that I read in a book a few years ago. And oh my word, that line changed my life. You will never be this young again. Wow. So pillar 3, liberate, supports you to build the unshakable foundations. This is where everything begins to change for you. Liberate's about building the unshakable foundation so you can regulate your nervous system, learn to trust yourself again, and create new evidence that you can handle life's challenges, because life will never stop throwing storms your way every day at varying degrees. But your roots need to become so strong that you can weather any storm. Yeah. And when I look back at the evidence, I get through, I can process my challenges so much faster now, because I've collected so much evidence and been aware of the evidence. Like, okay, well, I was okay. Like, I got through that, so I can get through this. Like, it's going to be okay. It's just a phase. It's going to be all right. I'm safe. And then manifest is where you build a life that loves you back. Because when you stop carrying so much, you finally have the space to create more of what you want, create less of what you want. Less is sometimes more, isn't it? You want a more simple life. Maybe you want to slow down a little bit. You want more peace, but that involves doing less. So manifesting, I want to make this really, really clear. Manifesting isn't about vision boards or sitting in meditation wishing for a different life. It's about taking small, aligned action steps, the next best action steps that naturally create more time, more peace, more joy, more freedom, more possibility in your life, until one day you get to the point where you look back and you don't recognize that past version of yourself. And you realize that you've been living a life that finally feels like yours, finally feels like it belongs to you. You actually feel that deep rooted, deep anchored peace within you. So what changes? What changes during this process? They are tiny, tiny things that compound over time. Most of it is not groundbreaking. Most of it is about finding the joy in the ordinary, because most of working mum life is quite boring. And we've been taught that, now everything has to be Instagrammable. And if it's not, then we're failing. Just adds more doubt to ourselves. So the things that I've done, that my clients are doing, having that hot cup of tea, having a sit down to decompress, and not feeling like you're on call and that you have to jump to attention the second your kids or your husband calls you. Something I do now, I don't wrap the boys' birthday presents, because they would much rather have a happy, fun mum who's not all like stressy, but they don't actually care about the visuals of yeah, it does look nice, but they don't care about the visuals. They care about what's in the present. And it's always broken my heart that kids just like rip. Anyway, and it just seems like such a wasted effort and a waste, like such a consumerist thing to do, waste of, the planet's resources and things. So yeah, I don't wrap birthday presents anymore. They get given to them in an Amazon package. Yeah. Maybe it's as simple as taking 3 breaths at the dinner table because everyone's a bit tired, grumpy, after a long day at school and work. So in order to regulate myself, I would just put my head in my hands, take 3 deep breaths, just come back to a place of calm, just remember who I am, remember who I want to be in that moment, and carry on. And so things don't escalate, and somebody has to lead by example. And that is one thing I am very passionate about, is that mums lead by example. It's not about doing more. It's just about role modeling and creating a ripple effect in your home through to your children, to your husband. Maybe it's just going outside for a couple of minutes and listening to the birds, because birdsong is so regulating. There is science around how birdsong regulates the nervous system. Maybe it is, I mentioned about the bathroom earlier, maybe it is as simple as just saying, no, I don't need to clean the bathroom today. I want to go and have an ice cream with my boys in the garden because it's really sunny. The bathroom can wait. It's not actually that important. But what's really important to me is spending that time with the boys, because they want me to come and bounce on the trampoline. They want me to have an ice cream with them. It's about delegating decisions rather than tasks. So instead of saying, go and put those shoes away, or go and put the shoes away, do you think it's a good idea to leave your shoes there? Like, question them, get them thinking as well about, the consequences of what they're doing. And when they realize actually not best place, they might trip up over them, or dad's going to come home from work soon and like walk through the front door and trip up over them, or not be able to get through the door. They start thinking differently, and that starts to take pressure off us. It starts to create more headspace for us. Maybe it's rather than thinking, oh, I should be chopping all the vegetables and preparing dinner, and your husband walks through the door, and rather than thinking, oh, I can't possibly ask him to help, even though I really want him to help because I'm really tired too, I've been working, just say, like, can you come and help me chop these vegetables? And actually what I found is that preparing dinner together is a really lovely way for us to catch up. Takes the pressure off me. He gets to have a catch up. He can do his own thing as well later on. It's fine. So, by going through the C.A.L.M method process, it helps us create more choice. It helps us give ourselves permission to be who we want to be, create that space to be more of who we want to be rather than who we think we should be, rather than be the version of ourselves that we don't always like that much. Might sound a bit harsh, but I didn't like myself, and life had got so serious and so there was just no joy. Even when I was doing something that was meant to be fun, I was too exhausted or thinking about the next thing, what I needed to do later on that day. And we achieve that sense of peace and harmony in our lives. So if you want to achieve this too, I want you to think that you can achieve this too, because you absolutely can. And it really doesn't take an awful lot for it. It just takes that support, accountability. First of all, it's a choice, then it's a commitment, and you will fall off the bandwagon. It's a case of when you're going to get back up again. How are you going to get back up again? So I don't want you to leave this episode, this final episode of season 1, thinking, well, that was inspiring. I want you to leave thinking, I don't have to keep living like this, because you really don't. And that's why I support working mums. If you've listened to this episode and something inside you has been saying, that's me, or any of the episodes, actually, any of the 12 episodes before this, that's me, or I never thought about it like that, or I'm really tired of carrying all this, and you're telling me that there's another way, then I'd personally love to invite you into Unshakable Mama, the 4-month portal to peace and possibility. This isn't another program that's going to give you more to do, because believe me, I know that's the last thing you need when life is already full on. Instead, this is an invitation into a completely different way of living. But it's very simple. It takes little time. So together, I guide you through my C.A.L.M method, where you'll uncover the beliefs, expectations, and responsibilities that you've been carrying for years without even realizing it. You'll release what was never yours to carry, build unshakable foundations that allow you to stay grounded, even when life doesn't go to plan, even when when the shit hits the fan, and you'll create the time, the space, and the freedom to become more of who you know you're meant to be, and build a life you love even more, because I know you've got an amazing life. Like, we've all got to this point, like we've got these incredible lives. The thing is, they're just so action-packed and tight-knit that there's no room to breathe. There's no room to welcome the next level in. Like, what is your next level? What else is available to you? We can't sometimes even think about these things, because we're just so back-to-back busy in go-go mode all the time. So this journey is not about becoming somebody new. It's about remembering who you were before the world taught you who you should be. It's about remembering who you were before the world and society and your generational beliefs taught you who you should be. It's about learning to think and choose differently. There's no dramatic life overhauls here, although, to be honest, there may be, but we start with hundreds of small intentional choices that compound over time. Only then are we in the position to actually hold ourselves through bigger change. But we go back to that. Where can you find more joy in the ordinary? The compound effect is how real sustainable change happens, little and often, throughout your days. Choices throughout your days, different choices throughout your days. So if you're ready to stop just listening to what I've been saying, to what the other women have been saying this season of Confessions of a Working Mum, if you're ready to start living the life you know you're here for, then I'd be honored to walk alongside you. This is for working mums with kids of any age, because we never stop. We never stop being a mum, and the demands on our time and energy just shift as our children grow and move into different phases. So just get in touch with me. Send me the word unshakable. Just let me know if you want the details. There is no pressure, no expectation. I am completely void of expectation on other people. That's, very important to me. This is simply an invitation to explore if this is right for you. So thank you so much for being here with me on this journey for this past few weeks. It's been my absolute honor and privilege to have you here. Take care. Before season 1 comes to an end, I want to remind you of something. If you've been listening to this thinking, that's me, please know that you're not broken, you're not failing, and you're certainly not the only one, which I hope you've learned through listening to these incredible conversations over the past few weeks. If you're carrying the mental load, holding everyone else's lives together, looking like you've got it all sorted while secretly wondering how you will ever achieve more, I see you. It isn't because you're not capable. It's because you've been carrying things that were never yours to carry in the first place. And the beautiful thing is, when you start releasing them, you create time and space for more calm, more support, more partnership, and to become more of the woman you've always been underneath the roles and expectations. Thank you so much for being here with me on this journey through season 1 of Confessions of a Working Mum. Every single woman who bravely stepped forward to share her story has told me what a healing experience it was. Many have never spoken those words out loud before. Listening back to their own episodes allowed them to witness their journey with fresh eyes and discover another layer of healing they weren't expecting. That's why I believe we need to keep talking. Let's keep sharing the raw, honest realities of working mum life. Let's keep having the conversations that so many women think they're supposed to keep to themselves, because this is how we create change, not just for ourselves, but for our children, future generations, and in the systems we've all inherited. Season 2 is already taking shape, and it may well be longer than 13 episodes because so many incredible women have already asked to be part of this movement. I'm excited to share their stories with you. If something in today's conversation has stirred inside you, or something from this series, if you're ready to stop just listening and start living differently, I'd love to invite you into Unshakable Mama's 4-month portal to peace and possibility. Together, we'll uncover the beliefs, expectations, and responsibilities you've been carrying for years without even realizing it, and so you can create the time, space, and freedom to become more of who you're truly meant to be and build a life you love even more. This is your invitation to remember who you were before the world taught you who you should be as a mother. If you'd like to explore whether this is the right next step for you, you'll find the link in the show notes, or you're always welcome to get in touch with me for an obligation-free chat. Until season 2, sending you so much love.